Good morning, everybody. My name is Joe Werther, and I'm senior lecturer in accounting here at Georgia Southwestern State University. I want to talk a little bit about the upcoming exam this weekend. Certain points that when I looked at the exam that you need to know. But before I start talking about the exam, let me talk about Wiley Plus. Some of you are still having problems accessing Wiley Plus Next Generation. Now here's what you need to do. Go into Wiley Plus, okay, and log in like you usually do. And where you have the choice between Wiley Plus and Wiley Plus Next Gen, choose Wiley Plus Next Gen. Okay, now what we're looking for as far as course ID and CRN number, we're looking for course ID A as in Apple 97858, and the CRN number of Accounting 2102 is 80814. If you do not see that course ID there, click on Add More Courses, and you should see my course out there, and just add that course in. And once you add the course in, click on the course, and you will see Assignment 1, Chapter 14 and 15. It's the very first assignment. And there's 4 problems, and each one of them are worth 5 points. And they are all coming from the textbook. And I believe I gave you till next Wednesday. I might even extend the deadline till next Friday night to get the 4 problems done. I just got back in town yesterday from Ohio. It took me 14 hours to get back to Myrtle Beach because of all these rivers that are rising, and roads are closed, and it's almost impossible to get in or out of this place. So but I'm back now, and I'll be back all weekend to answer any questions. Well, I could answer any questions anyway. All you have to do is give me a call on my cell phone. Now let's talk about the exam. The exam is this weekend. I've extended it to end Tuesday evening. The last time you can get on and take the exam will be 9 o'clock Tuesday evening, or I think it's 8:45 Tuesday evening. So it's a ProctorU exam. You need to contact ProctorU and sign up for it. The exam is in GoView. You will see it. It'll say exam number 1. It's 35 multiple choice questions, and it's pretty much everything that I outlined in chapter 14 and 15, where we look at overhead cost, product cost, direct material, direct labor, and manufacturing overhead. You've got to be able to separate product cost from period cost. You have to be able to use your predetermined overhead rate and apply overhead to work in process. And you also have to be able to balance your manufacturing overhead account. As you know, on the left side of that manufacturing overhead account, you have your actual overhead costs, and on the right side, you have your applied overhead costs. So when you apply overhead, you debit work in process, and you credit manufacturing overhead. And then at the end of the accounting period, you draw a line under the manufacturing overhead account, and you balance the account. In other words, whatever side is lower, you make that the same as the side that's higher. So you balance that account, and so if you have to credit that manufacturing overhead account, that means you under-allocated. Your actual overhead costs on the left side are higher than what you applied on the right side. Okay? So you make the right side the same as the left side. Well, okay, if you credit the manufacturing overhead account, then you go over to cost of goods sold and you debit cost of goods sold. Okay, now you're going to have to balance accounts, mainly work in process and finished goods. Now remember, when we look at the cost of goods manufactured, and you want to know that amount, that's the amount that goes from work in process over to finished goods. In other words, the credit to work in process and the debit to finished goods is called the cost of manufacture, cost of goods manufactured. And of course, the cost of goods sold is the beginning finished goods inventory plus the cost of goods manufactured minus the ending finished goods inventory equals cost of goods sold. So these are just things that I know that are going to be on the test. There's 5 or 6 questions from the first 6 or 7 pages of chapter 14, and they're mainly concerned with managerial accounting, advantages and pluses, what managerial accounting is, differences between managerial accounting and financial accounting, the objective of managerial accounting. We're forward, we were looking into the future, where financial accounting takes the past information and creates statements. Well, that's not what we're about. We're about saying, where are we going as a company? What's our inside going to look like? As far as budgeting, estimates. That's what managerial accounting is all about. And so you're going to be asked the difference between managerial and financial accounting. I know that. And you're also going to be asked to give an example of a job order costing system. Okay, and that's when you're working on one specific item that is distinct and different from other items. Okay, but these are just theoretical multiple choice questions. There will be some questions, I believe, on the value chain at the end of chapter, I believe it's the end of chapter 15. And of course, the value chain looks at all the cost for the history of the product itself. Research and development, delivery, customer service, marketing costs. It looks at all those costs. But you have to know the manufacturing cost or the product cost, and that's direct materials, direct labor, and manufacturing overhead. And specifically, you got to know your manufacturing overhead costs. Okay, direct materials and direct labor are always costs that you can put right to the product. But manufacturing overhead, those costs have to be allocated to the product. That's why we do the predetermined overhead rate. Okay, and we apply or allocate manufacturing overhead to the product. And the reason we do this is because a lot of the actual overhead costs do not come in till later in the month or even the next month. We don't know these costs, and if we finish a product or finish a job, we've got to get overhead into that job and sell that job. So that's why we apply overhead. And then, of course, at the end of the accounting period, we look at what we applied, and we finally got the actuals, and we balance it out. We say, okay, if we underapplied, we're going to add some to cost of goods sold. If we overapplied, we're going to take some out of cost of goods sold. Okay, so that's basically what's going on. Now, I'm interested to see, how everybody does on the exam. I don't have any stipulations like I usually do. I usually have like the 195 point rule, but I don't have that. I may give an online quiz at the end of the semester based on how we do on these exams. But anyway, if you got any questions, I'll be around this weekend. Like I said, the exam has been extended to Tuesday night, so you can give me a call, and if you have any questions, and I can talk about it with you. Good luck to all of you. Stay safe, and I'll check. I'll be watching your grades, your exam scores, and we'll talk to you next time on the next video. Thank you very much.